virtual world learning in your real world curriculum, integrating educational games into your standards-based lesson plans. And the subtitle is basically what I'm here to talk about. It's taking educational games and not just having students play them in order to perhaps fill time, but actually making those games work for you and integrating them into your standards-based lesson plans. From my experience as someone who's been in the classroom before for many hours, as required by my many teacher education classes, side note, I received my bachelor's degree in liberal arts and worked towards my teacher credential program with an emphasis in multiple subject education, grades K through 5. So I know the importance of standards. From day one, it's standards, standards, standards. You read them, you learn them, you discuss them in your classes, and ultimately you learn to teach with them in mind. So as I'm sure many of you know, it's a pretty important part of the job. So with that said, anytime you could teach math standards with the help of a tool like educational games, that's an advantage. As James mentioned before, it's important to make math fun. It's great when you're able to cover the standards that you're required to teach as a teacher, but truly engage students and make learning fun at the same time. A way to do that is by incorporating games like counting by 2 languages and Math the Universal Language, which Christy touched upon briefly earlier, which are a couple of our augmented reality apps into your standard-based lesson plans. We also have a Lakota and Dakota versions of Math the Universal Language as well. As you'll see, and you'll see what these apps look like and how they work in a second. So, the way our AR apps work is by first you download the app, and once you've opened the app, you receive cards to either print out or that you can view on a separate device. The AR cards are readily available in each app or directly from our website. Once you have the cards, then you can use our app and view each card, and that's when numbers come to life and math is brought to life. I want to share a few clips of what these apps actually look like and how they work. So this is Counting by 2 Languages, AR, and it's our preschool AR app. And so it focuses on counting from 0 to 9, and it's English and Spanish bilingual. So,
I'm not getting the sound, so you might just want to talk around.
Okay. Then, well, as you can see, it's also, we add text for everything as well. So I think say it's bilingual, English and Spanish math. And as Annette mentioned in the beginning, it is free. So this is another one. This also has counting from 0 to 10, but it integrates multiplication. So English and Spanish. And it's grades 3 to 5. So you could just, like I said, we also include text and everything. So you can't hear the audio, at least you can read it, but mostly you could see how the app works. So like I said, you have the cards available to you to either print out or access on a separate device. So this is that being accessed on a separate device. And you can use our app to view the cards that way. Or you could actually, like I said, have the actual physical cards. They are, and that one is also available free too. Okay, and the last one I want to share is Math the Universal Language AR Lakota. So this is the Lakota version of our AR apps. So you'll see the video, and it's really cool. So like we have, like I said, this one has 0 to 10 and multiplication also integrated, and it's English and Lakota bilingual. And so we have a few of the cards that showcase either a TP, a world, it's their links to other apps that we have as well. So it's bilingual, English and Lakota. You'll see the product of each multiplication problem, and you'll be able to touch the button for English, and you'll hear it said in English, or you'll hear it said in Lakota. And that's the same for all of them. You'll hear it in English and Spanish if it's English-Spanish bilingual, and then you'll hear it in English and Lakota. So, and like I said, I really like those clips because you get to see how it is that they work. And you see the AR component of it. So, like I said, I really like how you get to see the AR component. So from the videos, you can see the augmented reality portion in each game. This isn't new for students. It's something that, you know, they're familiar with in this day and age. Kids and adults too are familiar with augmented reality from applications like Snapchat and Instagram and using those filter features. Believe it or not, I'm not wearing a hat in that picture. No hat, no makeup, no fancy gold tube. It's all AR. The inflatable football helmet though, that is real, just in case you were wondering. But also in conjunction with like Snapchat filters, Instagram, you might have heard of Pokemon Go. That was all the rage and trend a couple of years ago. So it's essentially taking something kids already know and integrating it into your lessons. It's establishing that familiarity that creates engagement, which then ultimately leads to learning. As Christy presented earlier, we have our 7th Generation Game Teacher Resources website. It's there that you can find different math and history resources, such as videos, PowerPoint presentations, and much more. You'll also be able to find ready-to-go lesson plans on that site as well. I have a few examples of lesson plans that I want to share with you that include this virtual world learning into standard-based lesson plans. So the first example that I have is a lesson plan called Measurement and Augmented Reality. This lesson plan hits math standards that require students to learn about multiplication and measurement. Nowadays, phones often come with AR apps, tools and stuff like that that you can use to, for example, in this activity, measure. So with this lesson plan, part of the activity, students are asked to measure objects using that AR measuring tool on a device, and then actually measure those objects with an actual ruler, and then compare. So it's taking those two forms of learning, you know, whether it's through augmented reality experience or an actual ruler, and seeing how it is that they both measure up. Once the students are done with the measuring activity, they can go on to play Math the Universal Language AR in order to practice multiplication in that similar type of augmented reality experience that they were just doing in the measuring activity. Another example that I have of a lesson plan is this one called Math, Writing, and AR. And this is a good example of how you can not only hit math standards, but also other standards as well. So this lesson plan hits on math and writing. So what you have kids do is first they'll play Math the Universal Language AR, and then they'll practice multiplication in that same augmented reality experience, and then take it from there and have them do an activity where they create sentences using the multiplication problems from the app. So an example at the bottom, we have like say certain very highly mistaked math problems or multiplication problems that kids deal with, which is like 9 times 6 or 4 times 6. So the example isn't including one of those so that they come up with their own, but the example is 5 times 6 equals 30. So the sentences that they could come up with are like, Edwin received 5 brand new video games for each week he does his chores. Edwin has completed his chores for the last 6 weeks. We know that Edwin has 30 video game cards since 5 times 6 equals 30. So that's a great way to get students not only to practice multiplication, but also practicing their writing as well. And the last example that I have is of an activity that they could do at home is have them hunt for the AR cards of Counting by 2 Languages or Math the Universal Language, depending on their grade level. You could print them out, you could hide them in different places around a room, and then have them hunt for them. Once they found several of the cards, you could have them bring them to you, provide them with a device, and then they could use the augmented reality experience within whatever app it is that you're using. I would say for this one, depending on your situation, I would say this is more for a home setting, so you can have your students do it, or you could do it with your child, just to prevent kids running around a room looking for and hunting for different AR cards, just depending on whatever social distancing practices you may have within the classroom. Like, we don't want to put that at risk. So this is more for home, a home environment. Otherwise, the other 2 lesson plans you could do, like I said, at home, within a classroom, if you're homeschooling, whatever situation, distance learning you may find yourself in this upcoming school year. And we have these, like I said, we have these lesson plans available on our teacher resources site. Finally, in conclusion, basically what I touched upon was just how it's important to make math fun, and a way by doing that, which is now more of this newer technology, is virtual world learning. It's augmented reality, and including that, making it work for you and integrating it in your standards-based lesson plans. So it's something that kids already know. They use Snapchat filters, Instagram filters, Pokemon Go is the trend, and this is far less risky than Pokemon Go was a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if you heard, people were bumping into things everywhere. So at least this is a more controlled setting of whether in your house or in a classroom. So, you know, it's like I said, it's not new to them. It's an advantage for you as an educator, where you take that familiarity that they see with augmented reality and incorporate that into your lessons to create, you know, engagement and promote learning. So we at 7th Generation Games have lesson plans that you can use to implement that in your classroom. We have teacher resources, like I said, Christy spoke on those, and we'll provide all of these links for you at the end of the webinar. But finally, I wanted to share one clip, even if you probably don't hear the audio, but these were, I exhibited at the Moreno Valley Unified Themed Expo a few years ago. You know, it was one of like the first ones that they did. I believe they're on their 3rd year. And this was one of the very early times that I showcased Math, a Universal Language, and Counting by 2 Languages. And so it's just very cute as to how the AR component engages them, which led to them me being able to use the actual number cards with them. So again, it's like I was saying, it's that AR that pulls them in, engages them, and then creates the space for learning. So I see this. So yeah, so they were using, like I said, we have not only the number cards, but we also have other ones that are links to our other games. And so it has that world in the middle, and they were just enjoying being able to see it pop up. But yeah, so that's it for me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or that's my email, diana@7generationgames.com. And like I said, I was Diana from Project Manager, 7th Generation Games. So thank you.